Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there you can find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here I'm going to discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, given the context of the day's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Five of Cups. And it's here because it represents in astrology the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit in the land of Scorpio here. So Scorpio is a water sign and cups in tarot are water element symbolism. And water element symbolism has to do with feeling, how it feels emotionally, often how it feels to be in our body, but also, sort of what we feel in terms of intuition, in terms of sort of innate wisdom or knowing that might come up. It also sort of relates to our instincts, those sort of deeper wells of understanding that we have that we kind of have to tune into. But largely it's about emotion. The Five of Cups here, as you can see, is sort of a card of mourning. It depicts a sense of loss, grief, or maybe just a bad disappointment, right? And there can be a certain amount of despair when we have a loss. It can feel really sad, and it's appropriate to mourn what has gone. Whatever loving investment, whatever emotional investment you made, whatever you gave of yourself from your heart and your gut to a connection, a relationship, a job, whatever the situation was. It's like whatever you gave has been wasted because somehow those cups got spilled, and it feels like a loss, and it's appropriate to mourn it, and it's appropriate to feel that sadness, and it's also appropriate at a certain point to turn and notice that we still have two cups upright. And that's a reminder, that we really have a bottomless well. We always have more emotional investment to make. We always have more love to give to a project, a place, a person, we always have more to give. So, let's not linger longer than we must in the land of despair, because there's a certain moving on that has to happen, right? So that we can find the happiness that we were looking for in the first place when we made this investment and it got lost, okay? And with all of that said, I'm going to shuffle some cards real quick while I thank you all for being here, and just remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, like the video, hit the notifications bell. I do post here every day. I wouldn't want you to miss a thing, friends. Okay, so, ooh, the Nine of Swords. Well, they're pretty well matched, aren't they? These two, but sort of back to back. So the Nine of Swords is really about anxiety. It's about the kind of thoughts that go through our head, the kind of worries that go to our head, the kind of anxious ruminations that might keep us up at night. You see this person is sitting up in bed. They might keep us up at night, and it looks as though those swords are just sort of hanging on the wall or floating in the air, but you can see like right through the top of the head, through the middle of the head, sort of through the heart and the gut. It just feels terrible to be in this situation where you can't shut the mind off, and whatever it is that you're worried about, you're worried about it because it feels terrible to worry about it. It feels terrible to be in this predicament or this situation. And you might be losing sleep, having some headaches, having some health issues as a result of the anxiety. So that's one thing to remember, is that allowing ourselves to stay in a state of sleeplessness, allowing ourselves to stay in a state of being worked up and very upset about something that has made us anxious, that might have activated some bad memory, or that might just be going on for us now. Allowing ourselves to stay in that state is bad for our physical health. It's not just bad for our mental health, it's bad for our physical health. And you know what? Our mental health is our physical health, okay? So, make that connection and understand that whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that's keeping you up at night, or whatever it is that's causing you to ruminate, to go back over a situation over and over and over again, as though you could change it, or as though you could get it wrong, or as though you could see, more clearly how right you were, even if you're not sure that you were, there are about 100,000 reasons and ways to get into this situation. And, all I can say is whatever is happening, no matter how bad it is, allowing yourself to ruminate, allowing yourself to lose sleep is not good. Okay. It's not a good state to be in. So I would say if you've lost more than a couple of nights sleep in a row, or if you are really locked in a cycle of remembering and thinking about something that has hurt you in your heart, in your head, if you're really locked in that cycle, it's time to seek help. Okay, talk to a friend. More importantly, talk to a professional, somebody who gets paid to hear people when they're in this state of mind, and to help them break that cycle of rumination. Okay. Yes. And if you have already been to therapy, or if you have already talked to somebody and you already have the tools, but you are not using them because you for some reason have forgotten. I've been in that state and sort of forgotten that I have the tools, right? Or perhaps you didn't forget, but you're just like, for some reason we just want to sort of wallow in it, right? We feel so bad, or perhaps so guilty, or so sad we don't know how to let go of thinking about it, and we would even perhaps we think that we would feel worse if we stopped worrying about it for 8 hours and got some sleep, right? That's still not a good state of mind to be in. Okay, so use the tools that you have if you've got tools, and understand that when you take care of your body, when you make sure you get the rest that you need, your mind will follow. Okay, so don't downward spiral your mental health and your physical health all together at the same time, and put yourself in a less effective state of being. And let's see where the anxiety is on the board. Well, I see some squares here. This sun in square to Pluto right now really makes me think of anxiety, because this is a situation where, Sun conjunct Venus, we're very attractive. We're calling in the things that we desire, and we've got this really strong pulling power. We're trying with Mars here, where we're like able to even take initiative on calling in the things that we want, right? Or take initiative on things that don't just come when we call them, But, in this square to Pluto, there's a little bit of a resistance that says, I don't want to be under somebody else's influence. And perhaps, we're in a situation where we are under an influence that we don't enjoy being under. And, Venus square to Pluto makes us all the more desiring of what it is that we're trying to get. Well, Sun is in this sort of resistance pattern going, I want to get those things, but I don't want to have this influence in my life. So that can be a little bit of tension between the signs. Also, Mercury's opposition to Chiron has been coming across to me, and Mercury especially conjunct the moon, right? We're talking about our feelings, really able to share, to share and allow people to hear the feeling in our voice when we talk about what we care about. But in this opposition, in this sort of potentially conflicted way of being with our wounded healer, the part of us that is wounded and that constantly seeks to heal itself, right? And this could be like not wanting to really express what it is that we need to express to find the healing that we need, not really feeling like it's worthwhile or worth the trouble or worth the drama that we feel it might create to say the things that we need to say to feel better. or to express ourselves in a way that would help us feel more whole and more respected by the people around us. Okay, so there's a little hesitation, like, I don't know if that's really going to work, you know, talking about my feelings right now, talking about, you know, the healing that I'm trying to do. It's a little bit difficult to be vulnerable sometimes. And, you know, Chiron is in this cooperation with Saturn right here that says, you know, this is a good time to be doing that healing work. It's a good time to be focusing on, you know, sort of techniques and ideas and approaches and tools that we have for gaining ground on our mental health and our physical health. Okay, so, you know, we have to be really giving that our consideration, and we have to be really planning to get the healing that we need if we're not already on track to do that. And this opposition is really just highlighting for us even the need, you know, whatever hesitation that you have on finding, you know, the thing that we think is, the things that we think is nuts and that it would never work, or, you know, the thing that we think, you know, is just way too far beyond our scope of experience to try it out. You know, like for some people that would be acupuncture. They'd be like, whoa, acupuncture is way out there, you know. I wouldn't try acupuncture even though it healed this person and this person and this person, just because, you know, it's not Western medicine, so I don't understand it. That's just an example, right? So, you know, be consciously trying to open yourself up to the healing that is available, okay? Be consciously, this could be even being in resistance to getting therapy, to getting help from a licensed helper, right? You know, be in recognition of the fact that sometimes we just need a little bit of assistance, all right? And be in recognition of the fact that we have to be open to healing in order to get healing, okay? We don't heal without trying. That's, you know, the body is an amazing and wonderful thing, and the mind is a pretty amazing and wonderful thing too. We can heal, okay? The body heals on its own. It's got that generative power that is regenerative, right? But, you know, you have to still create the right circumstances for it. You can't keep putting it, you know, in the wrong circumstances and then expecting it to get better. And that's, you know, especially with our mental health, we can't keep putting ourselves in circumstances that are not good for our mental health and then, you know, expect ourselves to get better. So especially if there's something going on in your life where, you know, people are unkind, they're using their thoughts, plans, and words, and it just feels like hell for you, and it's keeping you up at night, you know, or maybe you've been trifling with other people's hearts and minds, you know, and it's coming back to haunt you, right? Like you used your thoughts, plans, and words in the wrong way, and now, you know, and now those thoughts, words, and plans are coming back to haunt you and keeping you up at night feeling like, oh, why did I do that? That was such a bad idea, right? Okay, some of us are in that predicament. Whatever it is, if you're in this space and you do not have the tools to get out, please go find somebody who can help you with the tools. And if you're in this space and you do have the tools to help yourself out, for goodness sake, do it, okay? Start by getting a good night's sleep. And then taken together with the Five of Cups, you know, these are both sort of levels of mourning, right? Or just levels of distress, despair comes across, sadness, perhaps a sense of loss, or maybe more of a sense of loss on this side and more of a sense of too much going on this side. Like, I could stand to lose a few of these friends if this is how my friends make me feel, right? So, you know, and this one sort of looks toward the past, and this one looks toward the future. So that's interesting. This is grief over something that is past and gone, and this is perhaps anxiety over something that is coming up in the future. And that reminds me about trying to stay present. Okay, that reminds me about being present. Meditation, friends. I heard somebody brilliant recently say, you know, as long as you're focusing on your breath, you are meditating. Okay, so it's not even that difficult. It doesn't take, you know, climbing a mountain. It doesn't take, you know, getting into a perfectly quiet, perfectly clean space. It doesn't take anything but bringing your focus back to yourself, breathing deeply into your belly and out 3 times. I always do that. I always do, okay, I feel very anxious and upset right now. I'm worried about the future. I'm going to take 3 of the deepest breaths I have taken all week. And I breathe all the way down into my belly and I fill up my chest and then I breathe all the way out, okay? Anytime you are focusing on your breath, you are meditating. This is what brings us back into our bodies, what brings us back into the present moment. You know, feel your feet on the floor, feel your butt in the chair, and you know, understand that you are here and you are whole in this moment. Nothing has nothing. Pardon my language, friends. I've got to quote Walter Sobchak, nothing is fucked here, dudes, okay? So let's not trip on what's in the past and let's not trip on what's in the future. Let's try to bring ourselves back around to the present moment, because this is where we have all of our power. This is where we are empowered to act. This is where we are empowered to make choices, okay? We can't make any more choices about what went before, except to, you know, accept them and let them go. And then we can't make any choices about what's coming up in the future until we know what our options are, until matters unfold and we see exactly how things are going to happen. And usually it's not as bad as we think it is, okay? So bring yourself back to the present moment. Really take care of yourself, your body, your heart, your mind in the present moment. Don't worry so much about the future. And I'm not saying forget about the future, don't pay your bills. You know, I'm just saying don't worry so much about the future. You may not know how you're going to pay that bill, you know, but if you are in the moment, then you are empowered to figure that out. Okay. I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your presence. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.